Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I'm not gonna lie, this episode kind of dragged in certain parts. The Ben and Claire stuff just got like, I just, I don't know if I was just getting bored or just starting to get kind of annoyed. They were talking about everything from like psychic links and stuff, and Claire was like, well, there's a psychic link between John and Marlena and some other people, and Ben is not there. He still thinks that Sierra's alive, and Claire's all like, honestly, tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie, Claire. This, for me personally, when I don't see a body, and people just have a memorial, and they're just like, whoa, she's dead. She couldn't have. There's no way that she could have like gotten out, and all this, that, and the third. It's like, seriously, your cousin. You don't even actually have a body, and you already just gave up on your cousin. Like, seriously. So she's she's all like, oh, there's no way she could survive. We had memorial. I don't know if it's possible. And so they go to this back and forth nonsense. And, at one point, this is when Ben is like, well, I've seen her, when the power outage, and I've seen her this way, and I've seen her that way, and I felt like she was here, and I felt like she kissed me. And I'm like, bro, I know we're not supposed to sit there and throw around the C word, crazy. But, when you start sitting there saying that you felt her touch and you're able to talk to her, I don't really know what that's called. I mean, most people will call that a psychological breakdown. So is that what you're having? I just and that's honestly, to tell you the truth, that's pretty much all they talk about is that, and they just go back and forth. And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't really go anywhere. Claire leaves. And then Ben is... Okay. So he did this really... You know what? It's a soap opera, so I'm just gonna just go along with it. Ben is looking at the photo, and he puts it down, and it's cracks a fortune cookie. And the fortune cookie says something along the lines of, nothing is ever lost as long as you follow your heart, or something like that. So they're telling him to, pursue this whole, Sierra's alive thing. Now, granted, at this point, we all know Sierra's alive because, well, we see her. And this is another portion of this episode that just dragged. Now, for the people who like Sierra, Victoria, I think that's her name, fans, you're going to be in for a treat. You get to see her, she's talking, and, like, the fans are going to love this part because they love her. But this part was another part that just was like a lot of... Really? This just was a lot of exposition, and granted, it was needed because we needed to fill in the void. But after a while, it was like, okay... And it all happens where, like, it's almost like we went back in time, and we was talking about how Vincent was, drugged up because Sierra, stabbed him with a needle, and then he woke up out of it, and then he shot, he pulled out the gun, and they were struggling with it, and, it fired, and I guess it must have hit a gas tank, and then, she escaped. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of just like, how does she escape and somehow Ben did not see that? Like, or when did she escape? I don't really understand it. I'm gonna be honest. I know that she explained, like, she got away before, the car exploded and she went into the woods, and that's when she met, some cowboy dude named Rhodes, because that's where we're at this point. But I'm not gonna lie, her story does not add up with what we saw. Like, at all. But maybe she escaped before they got right to the airport. That didn't really make any sense because they were fighting over there. You know what? Whatever. Anyway, she explained how she escape Vincent, but then she got captured by the cowboy guy, the cowboy kidnapper. I'm just gonna call him that because that's where we're at this point. So at this point, she starts pretty much, trying to plead her way out of it, trying to talk her way out of it. You gotta let me go. I miss my family. Yada yada yada. At this point, Roy's just like, you know what? Vincent is still calling the shots, even from prison, and he pays me to get money, and I'm not gonna let you go. So all this begging and pleading and everything that she's doing, even as far as, hey, I can give you money because my granddaddy's rich, and I'm like, so we're using that card, right? Because everything else failed. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Again, this is another one of those scenes that just went on way too long, and in the end, it was pointless. It was pointless because the guy was like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna sit there and give you books. Okay. Talk about for a minute. This room that he's holding Sierra in. This looks very, very similar to a show on Netflix called You. And I don't want to give too much away for people who haven't seen it, but if you have seen it, let's just say there's a certain person that's locked in a room just like this one. Like, eerily similar, and that was the vibe that I was getting every time they put back on that scene. But all the begging and pleading didn't work. She got a book from him, Romeo and Juliet, and then it didn't really go anywhere. So awesome. I don't know what's gonna go on with this point. Like, I know they're going to have to wrap it up at some point. Like, I know they're going to be, trying to figure out how she's going to escape and stuff like that. And is Ben going to sit there and really look for her? I just hope it doesn't drag on too long. I'm glad, here's the thing. I'm glad that they were able to actually get her back on the show. Or just, if they couldn't do that, get somebody else. But the way that they got her back on the show, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little convoluted. And this is coming from somebody who's been watching soap operas for like 20-something years, and I'm like, this is a lot. Is this what happens when we don't keep the actors and actresses happy with their contracts? We just have to sit there and kind of like do this route? Okay, sure. So yeah, that ends that scene. Let's talk about another pointless scene that happened. And it was pointless to some extent. Listen, this whole Rafe Nicole thing, we all know it's going to happen because, well, I've read the comments. And when I read the comments and stuff like that, I know that the people that write those comments have greater knowledge than I do about this show. So I can definitely trust, everyone that writes in the comment section about this show. So we know that at some point they're going to get together, and they get back into Nicole's place, and they talk about how they went to some cowboy place that's, I guess, like Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. And, Nicole won him a prize, and then he was kind of bummed out because he wanted to win it because, he's not seeing little David as much because, well, he didn't really get into why, which I actually kind of want to know why. She said, like, she was cool with him visiting little David, and now she seems like she's not as cool about it. But anyway, he's kind of bummed about it, and he wants to sit there and win it so he can give it to little David. And I was like, bro, you do realize that Nicole got it for you, and you can still give it to little David when you see him. Other than that, he was happy that, he had a good birthday, and Nicole answered the phone from Eric. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie, how long is this whole them being together until she realizes that this is not going to work out? Again, this is what happens when the actors are not happy. They leave. Now, I really do feel like they could have just got somebody else and maybe actually give this person something to do. But I guess time will tell. Anyway, she got on the phone with him, and Rafe left. And that was pretty much about it. So yeah, another pointless scene. What else happened? Oh, Tripp comes to see Charlie. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a gutsy move. So he comes over there with the DNA test, and he's like, "Oh, it proves that you're the father." And Tripp, Charlie's like, "Well, nothing's gonna happen. Like it's inadmissible, and even if they, like even if like they do the test or whatever, it's not gonna matter because the London police didn't really do anything. So." And it's outside their jurisdiction, so it's not really much that can be done. But he's all probably correct about all of that. But with Tripp, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you go to jail or not, because the truth is out. And then he gets in his face and he's talking about how, no one's going to forgive you, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose Claire. And Charlie is still under this delusion that he can somehow, like, salvage this relationship. Like, I mean, if he wasn't RAPE, I would almost kind of laugh at just how delusional he is. He really thinks that, what he did to her cousin, he's somehow going to smooth that over. And that's sort of what Tripp said. Tripp is like, yo, listen, that relationship is done. And he hands him the paper, he hands him the test results, and he walks off. And I'm sitting there thinking, the reason why it's so gutsy, because it's like, this dude is literally in the corner. He practically almost has nothing left to lose. I mean, he already thought about killing Tripp once, and he just goes to his apartment, no backup or anything like that. I mean, listen, I gotta sit there and say, if somebody's willing to do that to another human being, they're capable of anything. You really want to go over to their house and confront them? Like seriously? Like, no weapons? You cool with that? Okay. So yeah, he leaves, and Charlie's still sitting up there thinking that he can somehow salvage whatever relationship he has. Now when Claire comes to see, she comes back home, and Bella informs her that, Claire, that Allie remembered that it was Charlie, and she's like, oh, no. Like, she's devastated. I was like, you almost sound shocked about this. Like still, I feel like all the signs are just pointing at him, and somehow she's still just like, no, it can't be Charlie. He's so sweet and kind and innocent. And like, are you serious? I know this is a soap opera, and I know it takes a while for them to get from point A to point B, but like, you make these characters sometimes look like fools when the evidence is literally against. Another thing that really bothers me, she was so quick to sit there and believe Tripp did it. She was so quick to believe that Tripp did it. Charlie did. No, he's my boyfriend. Like, okay, sure, whatever. Now Allie does go to Bella, and she's talking to him about dropping down the suit, the silver suit, because she realized that it was Charlie that did it. So they go to the police station to talk to Sean, and pretty much just get a statement so this way the ball can get rolling on whatever police proceedings that they're going to do, which, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what they're going to do at this point. They don't really have it. I mean, okay, so they have DNA evidence that, Charlie is Henry's son. Yeah, Charlie is Henry's son, but they don't have anything else. So they have her word, then they're going to have his word. And unfortunately, you know how these things tend to go. So, I don't think really a lot of, like they're going to be able to do anything, and plus it happened in London. But, yeah, I don't know about him actually getting a job anywhere in that town. I guess it's going to be kind of interesting moving forward. This whole, like, what is Charlie going to do? I mean, he's pretty much screwed. What else? Yep, I'm not going to lie. That's all I can really sit there and remember. I think that's pretty much all that really happened, or anything that's of importance. I mean, listen, it was cool to see Ciara back, but it was like, okay, like, after she, did that whole exposition about how she escaped, the car, but then got captured by that guy, it pretty much was downhill from there. All she pretty much do was asked him to leave, and like, she wanted to leave, and he kept saying no, and no matter what she said, he kept saying no, so it didn't really go anywhere, Wasn't like there was any, like, cracks in the glass or anything like that, or anything, so nothing really happened with that. And the same thing with Ben and Claire. Nothing really happened with that. They talked about Ciara. He thinks that she's still alive. Claire doesn't. And they just pretty much kind of talked about it back and forth. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie. For a Friday episode, you would think it would be like on this really great cliffhanger. And it just was not. Here's the thing. If they had actually waited until Friday, and then it was like, okay, Ciara's alive, and then we saw her, then that would have been like a really great cliffhanger. But just whatever this is, like, nah. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of disappointed by this episode. Again, if anyone write comments and stuff like that, and it just like erases or deletes, I didn't do it. But I apologize, because I do love reading the comments. And there's a good chance that I might, if my vacation, like if they didn't screw up my vacation days or whatever, I should actually be on vacation. Which is more likely staycation, but with that being said, I can try to get on my reviews a lot earlier next week, since, I'll be off for the week, which would be great. Because as much as I love, coming in work super early to get out super early, I'm still coming in ridiculously early. Anyway, with that being said, and it'll be nice to actually just have a break. But yes, with that being said, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Be safe. Let me know what you actually thought of this episode. Like, did you like it, or was it just like, I can't tell if this episode made me tired because I, been up since 6, or did this episode make me tired because nothing really happened. But let me know if that's how y'all felt. Be safe. I will catch everyone in the next review.